Chapter 1. Winter's P.O.V. Winter, your father just died and we need to go back to California, my state, my mom said. That was the last thing a child of 5 would want to hear at that point. Life had been tough on us, especially for me having a perfect twin sister, who looks nothing like me and acts nothing like me either. To top it all, we were biracial. My dad was Nigerian and my mom was American. So imagine a dark-skinned girl with frosty blue eyes. I took my dad's complexion and my mom's eyes. As for Summer, reverse was the case. She to my mom's complexion and my dad's eye color. She was a rare beauty, all right. And she never missed an opportunity to rub it in. Now at this point we are going to Orange County in CA. We left Nigeria and headed to CA. Things had just begun for us. Mom could have taken us to her parents, but they weren't in good terms. She had to take several part-time jobs just to keep up with expenses. Soon enough 1 year had passed, and that was when we met Mr. Frost. An alabaster-skinned man with blonde hair. Turns out he and my mom were lovers. That was before Daniel, my dad. Well, Mom and Mr. Frost were in courtship for 6 months, and within that time I realized that he didn't like Summer and I. But as long as he loved Mom, I didn't care. Winter, Summer, Mom cried one day in the living room 2 weeks after her marriage with Mr. Frost. Yes, Mom, was our reply. Girls, I would like to discuss something with you, she said. We looked at her with wide eyes. Okay, Mom, Summer said. You girls have to accept Timothy as your new dad, she said with sadness in her eyes. Mom, are you okay? I asked, noticing her body language. Yes, sweetheart, I am. But what I don't way to show you accept has changed your surname, she said. I hoped. I wasn't hearing well, so I kept a confused look. Mom. Yes, Winter, I said what I said, and it is final, she replied. Summer, on the other hand, could care any less about the situation. To her, we were already fucked beyond repair. So we became the Frosts. But when I thought things wouldn't get crazy, it did. I became Winter Frost, but that wasn't the end of the it. Mr. Frost's agency, called the Blue Star Agency, offered I and Summer scholarship to Queensbury College. It was a boarding college. But that is not when my life drastically turned. Plus I had no idea I could do what I did. But as they say, a killer is born when he first tastes blood. I didn't believe until it happened. I was in my dorm room when the emergency bell rang and I had to rush out to Assembly Hall. On my way there, a hand grabbed me and pulled me into the janitor's closet, only for me to see the janitor himself forcing himself on me. If I recall right, I grabbed the fork on the shelf where he kept his food and I stabbed him in the neck on his major artery. I was scared. What did I just do? I asked myself. I noticed a black nylon and I wrapped the fork in it. I picked up my hoodie and worked out of the janitor's room. Luckily there were no CCTV cams on the floor and in the room. I looked at my partly bloody stained hands, and went to the washroom where I cleaned up my hands and I washed the fork. I also washed the room. After that I headed to the assembly hall. 5 days after that, the death of the janitor filled the whole school. Hey Winter, did you hear the news? Summer said, looking amazed. Seriously, is it true? I asked, trying to act shocked. Yeah, they suspect one of the students, she said, flipping through her biology textbook. Well, I'm not surprised, since so many students have been threatening to do harm to him. She also added. Just then 2 girls passed, mumbling. Personally, I think it's Winter. She is weird in a bad kind of way, the tall girl said, stealing glance at me. I just don't like her. First off, she is dark-skinned and she has frosty blue eyes. What a creature, the shorter girl said. That didn't shock me because the whole school hated her than me. Excuse Miss Frost, I heard a voice from behind. I and Summer turned quickly. Ooh, my bad, the secretary said. I mean Miss Winter Frost, he corrected as he smiled at me. The principal would like to see you, he concluded, and I followed him. With a wave towards Summer. In the principal's office was seated the principal himself, a Blue Star agent which looked really familiar, but I couldn't tell, due to the huge hat on her head, and then an officer. Winter, I need you to relax and tell us what happened the afternoon of the 25th. The principal asked. Mind you, everything you say would be recorded. The officer said. Sir, I was actually sick on the 25th. I said. Really, Winter? Just tell us your activities on the 25th. The principal said. Well, that morning, I was at the dining hall for breakfast. And I had to stay there after breakfast because I was on kitchen duty. And then by afternoon I went to the sick bay because I felt sick. I had ignored the symptoms, saying it was probably due to my period. But it got extreme. After that I headed to my dorm to rest. Then I heard the bell. I said, maintaining a poised look. Well, some students say they saw you arrive late to the assembly hall. The principal said. And to top that, some students are speculating that you killed him. The officer added. She is only but just a child. The lady finally spoke, and that was when I recognized her. She was Meriwether, a colleague of Mr. Frost. We apologize, madam, but nothing, she cut in. As she looked me in the eye, sir. I was sick, so I could only drag my foot. And I had to return to the toilet because I puked on myself, sir. And besides, all the students in this school actually have issues with me, mostly academic battles. I said with a no look in my eyes. The corner of the mouth of the principal twisted into a smile. You may leave, Miss Frost, he said. After 3 weeks the case was closed instantly, probably to school bribed their way through. I and Summer were having lunch when her attention was needed at the principal's office, and after 2 minutes she returned. I was tempted to ask what happened, but I decided to keep shut. Soon enough the session had come to an end. Meriwether was the one who took us home due to the unavailability of our parents. She dropped us off and left immediately because she was needed at work. Sometimes I wonder what they really did in that office, other time I just didn't care. As we got in we found a gruesome sight. Mr. Frost was on top of my mom, hitting her with a ladle constantly. My mom laid there clearly unconscious. But he kept hitting her. Only God knows for how long he had been hitting her. I quietly ran to the kitchen and picked up a frying pan and a butcher's knife. With a knife struck at the back of his head with the frying pan constantly hitting him, applying more pressure with each strike. He fell to the ground unconscious. That was when I cut his neck with the knife. Winter, you just killed Dad. Summer said in a voice barely above a whisper. No, Dad killed Mom and he was about to do the same to us. I said, trying to defend myself. Just then Meriwether came back. Oh well, another site to clean. She said as she made phone call to the agency. After half an hour a black car pulled up at our parking lot. And Meriwether handed me over to them, saying they will take care of you and make something meaningful out of your skill. Agent Frost. She finally concluded. What is happening, I asked. That was when I learned that Mr. Frost and the agency killed people. And Mr. Frost placed me as his next of kin. Now it was clear why he told Mom to change our surname. And with that new development the next 10 years came in a flash. Summer and I are now doctors. I was a urosurgeon and Summer became a cosmetic surgeon. Miss Frost. Miss Frost. Yes. I replied. I was being called out by a staff. It's time for your interview. He said. Excuse me, there are actually 2 Miss Frost here. So please would you specify? Said Summer. Oh, I see. Well then, Miss Winterfrost. Is that so? He said. In a nice American accent. Oh, that's me. I said, calmly trying to compose myself. As I entered the room I saw the president of the hospital, Dr. Copperfield. He was a cardiologist, the medical director, Dr. Eugene, an audiologist, and the head of surgery, Dr. Brooks, a gastrointestinal surgeon. There was silence for some time. Dr. Eugene decided to crack a joke. To which we all laughed. They asked me a few questions. To which I answered. I see we have another Miss Frost here, said Dr. Brooks. Could you call? She said to the staff at the door. And not long Summer walked in. Good day, Miss Frosts. We both laughed, and then Dr. Brooks continued. From your C. versus with other hospitals and your teaching hospitals review about you. Most especially Dr. Winterfrost is outstanding. As well as you, Dr. Summer. We just wanted to say welcome to Golden Brick Hospital, she concluded. Thank you so much, I and Summer said in unison. Later on the staff lead us to where we would collect our scrubs. Mine was purple and Summer's was red. That day we went home with joy in our hearts and a smile on our face. Hey guys, my name is Summer Frost. And I will be continuing the next chapter. Stay close to hear my point of view.